Stress can really rock our world in the wrong way. Have you begun to suspect that maybe your stress is getting a little bit out of hand? Stress is a natural part of life, but there comes a time that stress can be over stress, more stress than the body should deal with right now. Are you feeling a sense of potentially having a bit of overstress in your life right now? Well, let's take a look at the 5 signals, the 5 identifiers that you are in the midst of overstress. I'm Liah Kraft-Kristaine, and I talk about well-being, emotional intelligence, communication, leadership, and happiness. And I want us to understand that stress is an underlying factor of just about every one of those things I mentioned just now. Stress is an underlying factor of whether or not we are happy, whether or not we have emotional intelligence, whether or not we're communicating well. Stress is a factor in many problematic issues in life. So let's take a look at these 5. The first indicator that you are in a moment or a stretch of time when you are overstressed is that you become ill or have signs and symptoms that are irritating and questionable and concerning more than you did in the past. Little aches and pains, maybe big ones, where maybe you wake up one morning, step out of bed, and your foot hurts, and the underside of your foot. Or your ankle suddenly gives you a sharp pain, or you feel something in your chest and you wonder whether you maybe over-exercised or is that something to be concerned about. Well, anything that is causing us more aches and pains, or if we get a cold more easily, is definitely showing us that we are stressing our immune systems. And most definitely when there is an overlying sense of stress, where there is not well-being that is the top note playing in your life, you definitely can start to use the resources of your body to fight off small things and large things, whether bacteria or viral or fungal, any other kind of attack on the body. And you can use your white blood cells, your T cells, your B cells, and your NK cells, the natural killer cells. That can make you feel a sense of illness. The second indicator of overstress is an increase in unhealthy or negative habits and an inability to keep our healthy promises to ourselves. And so what would that mean? Of course, that might mean things like exercise, eating right, taking care of ourselves better, getting to sleep at night, not letting ourselves watch television until we can't stand up, to go to bed before we are exhausted. Taking care of ourselves better is a hallmark of a person who is emotionally intelligent. Well, what happens to us when we get stressed? We generally regress with enough stress. We regress to a younger age of ourselves, whether that age is 18 or 12 or 8 or 6. We can truly regress so that when, even after we've made a promise to ourselves that we are going to eat more vegetables, we're going to eat more healthy, we're going to cut out the carbs, going to reduce the carbs, we're going to stop with the sugar, we find ourselves at the end of the day still craving something that isn't in the refrigerator. Now that we've cleaned it out of all the fun foods, We open the door of the refrigerator looking for something, and the 6 or 8-year-old of ourselves says, "There's nothing to eat in here." Nothing like chocolate or sugary foods or ice cream or anything else that is the kind of comfort food that an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old would be looking for. We also can make very good promises to ourselves, such as exercising 20 minutes a day at home. Now that we're at home, exercising 20 minutes a day, putting that DVD in the player and working out with it. And we get to 7 o'clock and we think, I'm really hungry and I can't exercise after I eat, so I guess I've missed it for today. And what we do is day after day, we lose track of what we promised ourselves we were going to do to turn it around and start feeling better. So no wonder that number 3 in the list of what is causing overstress is, or what signs are there for overstress, is number 3, more negative thoughts. More negative thoughts about ourselves, more negative thoughts about other people, more negative thoughts about things out there in the world. The negatives just start flowing, and sometimes they don't stop. We find something wrong, and we go from one wrong thing to the next wrong thing to the next wrong thing, and pretty soon all we are is filled up with negative garbage, and we can't see our way clear to feeling good, a sense of well-being, a sense of comfort and rightness with the world. And so guess what happens because we have all these negative thoughts flowing around in our heads about other people and about the world and about ourselves? The 4th telltale sign of a danger signal for overstress is that we have more issues with other people. We may have more arguments. We may have more times when we were misunderstood or when we misunderstood them. Or maybe we simply didn't say it in the way we meant to say it, whether it was our tone of voice, or maybe it was something we forgot to say this first and this second. But we mess up on a communication level. And so therefore, there are many more discomforts in our communication with others, whether it's people you're living with or people you're dealing with on the telephone, whatever it is. The propensity to rile things up, keep things riled up, get angry, stay angry because you may feel justified in staying angry, instead of solving the problem. It's going on everywhere. It's going on everywhere. We need to help this. We need to change this. And so finally, the 5th sign of very dangerous overstress is that we feel exhausted. And when does that happen? Well, you could say, I go to bed feeling exhausted. I'm so tired I can't fall asleep. And I wake up feeling like I haven't slept at all. Has that happened to you? Have you felt that recently? That is definitely a sign and symptom of not allowing ourselves to drop out of the level of anxiety, which is the level that stress creates when we are thinking negatively about things, when we're feeding ourselves unhealthy foods, when we're not keeping track of how healthy our body is in an exercising sense. So when we're sleeping, we are not sometimes able to slip into that deep delta sleep. We're not able to drop into REM, where we are having dreams at a very deep, deep level, like we should be having. I highly, highly suggest that if you are having more than one of these symptoms, if you're having 2 or 3 of these symptoms of overstress, you need to stop right now and get yourself on a plan of action to turn it around. And if you are having 4 or 5 of these symptoms, it's essential, it's critically important, it's a must-do right now to take yourself in hand and take a look at least three things. Choose three things you're going to do for yourself each and every day. Make one of them something that has to do with movement. Go for a 30-minute walk every day. Work out for 20 minutes every day. Do something and give yourself, when you've done it, give yourself a gold star for that on a calendar so that you know you've had some exercise that day. Just take a regular wall calendar and stick a gold star on it. Second thing that you must do for yourself is very much be aware of what you are eating that could be causing distress. Definitely, it's easy to overeat on the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are the problem primarily for most people, not the proteins. The proteins are the meat, the chicken, the fish, the lentils. All of those things have wonderful protein in them. The things that get us into trouble, that make us logy, that make us uncomfortable, that make us bloated, that make us not think as clearly are things like pasta and sugar and other kinds of quick burning carbohydrates instead of the natural slow burning ones. And the third thing I would recommend is to stay away from processed foods. It's really easy to eat clean. Honestly, it is. I am not a good cook, and that makes it really easy for me to cook clean by taking, for example, potatoes, even though, yes, they're starch, far better for you than other kinds of carbohydrates. Sweet potatoes have tons of vitamins and minerals in them. A wonderful white potato gives you more minerals and vitamins than pasta does. Just eat simply. Eat frozen vegetables without adding anything to it except maybe butter, but organic butter. Put in maybe a potato, a sweet potato, and then add in something like a chicken breast. Takes no time at all to put chicken breasts on foil, on a baking sheet, cover it with olive oil, sprinkle it with salt or kosher salt, put on top of that basil sprinkles, put on top of that some garlic powder, and you have a wonderful thing to pop in the oven for 30 minutes, then turn it over, cook it for another 20. If you do all, say, 8 of those chicken breasts, you'll have enough food for an entire week for dinners, possibly. It's easy, it takes no time at all. Also, get yourself some things that will help you to do more exercise easily. Get yourself a little rebounder, which is a mini trampoline that's about 36 inches in diameter. Jump up and down on that, and in doing that 200 or 300 times, you will help clean the lymphatic fluid of the body and help detoxify yourself. There's many other things we can do that I'm going to cover in a video I'm going to do very soon about several of the things I do in a day that take no time at all and definitely keep me strong and keep everything feeling good. I'll see you again soon. I'm Liah Kraft-Kristaine, and this is Life Crafting with Liah KK. Thank you for joining me.